Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Indianapolis Raceway, where the Outcast Independent League is running their SR8 Series race this evening. The SR8s are out on track qualifying right now. That'll give us just a minute or two here to make sure we have everything squared away for this great race. As we saw last week, definitely get some great racing from these guys. Definitely some exciting racing going on when they were in the draft nose to tail, but tonight will be more about distance, tires, how they get around the track, corner entry, corner exit, and a whole lot of fun and excitement. They won't get very far from each other, I would imagine. At least there should be a pretty decent front pack in practice tonight. They had about a six-car pack going up towards the front. And with just over a dozen cars on track tonight, that should make for some exciting racing. I don't expect to see them get split up, but we will see. Indianapolis is a rectangle, not an oval. And it is 9.2 degree turns and 0 degrees of banking on the straightaways mean it is going to be tricky. And it does wear those outside tires. So we'll see if the tire strategy comes into play at all tonight. Now they are running 35 laps tonight around this famed motor speedway. And as they are wrapping up qualifying, let's take a look at the leaderboard and see how they did. And it looks like Greg Poole qualified on the pole, followed by Mason Neal, Michael Graynolds, Christopher Rawlings, Stephen Barber, Kyle Eichten, Norman Chan, Tom Land, Mark Belair, and Edward Belair round out your top 10 with James Belair and Doug Thomas qualifying 11th and 12th. And it looks like the boys are about to get out there on the track. Let's see if we can find some of these guys out there on the track and go take a look. Here they are lining up behind the pace car. Now the pole sitter tonight is Gerald the Flaming Karma Poole. Wanted to make sure I got his nickname shouted out there tonight. He's one of the always one of the ones to watch at the front of these races, but what I hear, it's been a bit since he's been to Winter Circle, so he's hoping to get that accomplished tonight, and we will see a lot of exciting racing with these cars. They are high downforce. They don't have as much tire wear as some do, so those tires will last. They could probably go the full 35 laps. But depending on how cautions fall and how the race goes, they may come in a little bit early, get some fresh tires, depending on what the other cars do. It's going to be a tire strategy race. And it does look to be exciting as we've got Chris Stanbridge in the chat cheering on Tom Land tonight. Tom is starting. Let's see, where did Tom start? Back in 8th, but I find this interesting, the Belair family, 9th, 10th, and 11th. So I would imagine that those three, just guessing, will work together till about 5 laps to go, at which point all bets are off, I would imagine. As the last of them get lined up, we're watching the Gerald Poole and Mason Neal. Mason Neal and Norman Chan are also two of the ones to watch tonight. They are generally some of the best ones. You never count them out in these cars. So we'll see if one of these front cars can pull away, or if that car starting in 7th, Norman Chan, let's see if he can catch back up to the front. We'll have some great camera angles tonight. We'll try and get some in-car video tonight as well. Didn't really get to that last week, but there was so much excitement last week, I literally lost my breath, and it took like an hour to catch it after that race. That was one heck of an exciting battle at Daytona. Next week, they will be back for the end of the season at a doubleheader at Dover and Talladega. That will definitely be exciting. We look forward to seeing that here. As they come around, it will be a single pace lap. You see the lights are off on the pace car. Everybody take a deep breath as they go down the back straightaway. The way these boys were racing last week, I don't know that we're going to get to breathe again for about 35 laps. Now, their lap times are running about 59 seconds. They qualified at 59.2. And the split between the top 5 cars was measured in hundredths of a second. 3/100ths of a second to be precise. From first place, Gerald Poole, back to 5th place, Stephen Barber. Just 3/100ths of a second, so you can tell. And there was half a second between the whole field. So you can tell that this battle is going to get crazy tonight. And thankfully, Chris Stanbridge is going to make sure I get an oxygen tank. I might need it tonight. Love watching the races here, and this one is definitely going to turn out to be one heck of a battle after what we saw last week. I would expect nothing less. We'll watch that pace car drop off, and Gerald Poole will lead them down to green. We will see when he decides to take the green. I bet it's going to be, he's going to wait as long as he can and try and catch some guys off guard. And green flag drops. Gerald Poole does get a bit of a jump. Looks like Mason Neal drops back just a hair. Michael Grainold's in 3rd. Looks like he's going to move up on that inside line. That outside line is struggling getting going already. And we see him dropping below the white line already, looking for a way around. These cars with all the downforce, they can get down low. They can handle the bumps. They can handle quite a bit. I did a little practice in them this week myself just for fun and to make sure that I had a good feel for the cars. And I got to tell you, they can take a lot before they break loose and give you any problems. And at a track like Indy, with these flat corners, you're taking at high speeds, you definitely need some stability. And that's what these cars will give you. As they come out of turn 4 to complete the first lap, it is still Gerald Poole in the lead, but that outside line looks like it might be picking up a little bit of momentum. It's like Mason Neal there on the outside is getting a bit of a run. Now that going through the short chute here, it is better to be on the inside, so we'll see if he can make anything happen. He will be able to carry more momentum, but out off the corner, coming down the back straightaway. And we will see the draft come into play as well, as you see these guys moving around, looking for that hole in the air so they can suck back up. And we're watching it now as the 3rd car back in that inside line is starting to pull right back up to him. As they come through the short chute between 3 and 4, Gerald Poole still holding on to the lead. It looks like Mason Neal there just can't get anything going yet on the outside. Not really gaining anything, but losing about a half a car length a lap. Not much right now, but over the course of 35 laps, that half a car length will start to add up. But we are not seeing any breaking away from the pack. Nobody's falling off the back of the pack. Looks like we might have a driver back there at the back playing it a little bit safe. Looks like there's a couple of them back there. Let's see if we can hop back there. And there's the 007. That is Belair, James Belair, in the 007 car. No, I'm sorry, that was Edward Belair. I was looking at the wrong name. As they come through the short chute, he is just hanging out back there. And we scoot back up and look at the back of the field. When they get to the straightaway, they are going 3 wide. We've got to move to the outside. As Gerald Poole has scored in 3rd that lap, and Mark Belair started in 9th, was scored in 1st place on that last lap. Mark Belair in that black and yellow 95 was scored in 1st place. He had one heck of a run coming off that turn, coming off a 3 and 4 down the front straightaway, but seems to be fading. Couldn't get any drafting help, couldn't get back down low. Got hung up on the outside. And, oh, we've got one going off in the grass there. I've heard of going low, but he was going to try to make a pass in the grass. Looks like that is the number 28 of Stephen Barber. Trying to make a move in the grass. I wouldn't try that right through here, Stephen. You might find a wall. As they come back down the front straightaway, looks like we've got the same two hanging out up front. Mason Neal, Gerald Poole. Excuse me. As they come through 1 and 2, not a lot of changing up front, but we're only 5 laps in, and I would imagine some of these guys are playing it safe in the early going. They have a long way to go and only one fast repair to get there. And that is important to note, because while we may not see these cars quite as close tonight, we do see them very, very close. Not quite as close as they were at Daytona, but they are staying pretty bunched up, so if one goes wrong, it can collect a lot of these cars. So it's good to see a couple of these guys playing it safe, taking it a little bit easier this week. Chris Stanbridge in the comments saying that these cars do have quite a bit of side draft. And it looks like that's how the Mark Belair car managed to shoot to the front the way he did. I have not played with the side draft on these much, but I'm going to have to try. And we know that... Oh! Looks like Mark made a power move down there to the inside. Got that down there to that inside line and found a bit of a hole. There wasn't much of a hole there. He managed to get in there, though. As we see him ducking back down onto the... See the 28 duck back down on the grass again. As he drifts out coming out of turn 4, he is looking for some momentum. Looks like he's trying to make a move. Might have a little bit of help behind him. Let's see if that 28 car... Oh, he falls back in the line. Cannot get enough momentum. He wasn't getting anything going on the inside. He's starting to work the outside, see what he can find. See if he can find some of that side draft. Hoping to find a really lucky situation where he can shoot straight up the middle as we see him getting a little bit dicey, falling back in the line back there. But that 28 back to the outside. And we might see a little bit different driving tonight, and definitely some different driving effect as iRacing put out their seasonal patch today. And it did have some drafting updates, mainly for stock cars, but I believe these were impacted as well. They have a little cushion of air out there by the wall. As you would in a real car, it builds up a little air. As you see the 28 get up there by the wall, he may have just hit that cushion of air without hurting the car. And we've got some cones flying. Looks like a couple of the guys got the pit road cone, and it is bouncing all over the place. The pit road cone is dead. Long live the pit road cone. As they come back down the back straightaway, 8 laps in, we're starting to see a lot more movement back there. We saw a lot of 3-wide racing at Daytona. They could go 5 wide theoretically here, and I would not be surprised to see that on the last lap. We saw 4 wide last week at Daytona. Don't be surprised to see 5 wide here tonight. It comes down to the end, and they've got to go for it. As we heard the winner saying last week, when you got to go for it, you do what you got to do to get to the front. As Mason, looked like we had another power move back there. Looks like that was the 91 of Tom Land. He is starting to play around back there, trying to find a way around. Yeah, that is the number 91. He's fallen in behind Mark Belair. We saw Mark making some moves earlier as well, so these two are not afraid to get a bit aggressive as they come down to complete the 9th lap. They're coming through the short chute between 3 and 4. Looks like these guys are starting to work, trying to work their way up to the front. Again, Mark started way back in 9th. He's already up to 4th. Tom started in 8th, up to 5th. I imagine they worked together just a little bit to get there. As they cross the start-finish line, it is Mason Neal scoring, or Gerald Poole scored the lead on that lap. Got to the lead right there at the end as we see 3 wide coming through the short chute. There's that 28 going to the outside again, looking for a way around. And it looks like Tom Land might be moving up to help. Fell back into that middle line, but we will see what plays out when they go back through this short chute. It looked like that 28 car had a little bit of a run. Oh, a little bit of a love tap there going into turn 3. Most drivers, especially in bigger, heavier cars, will say the entry to turn 3 is probably the most difficult. Turn 1, you've got a little bit of shade. You can see a little bit better, but when you come down into turn 3, you're driving into the sunlight, no shade, the track's hotter. It is a little bit slippery. Even in these high downforce cars, you can still run into... Oh, the 28 gets into... We've got a 3-car accident. Look like the 28, the 91 of Tom Land. And 91, Tom Land is all beat up. He will go in and get his fast repair as we start to work the first caution of the evening. And let's go see. As we watch, the 91, the 28 just got down into the 95 and collected the 91 as well. So 3 cars damaged in that incident. Looks like we'll get back just in time to see Mark Belair coming down to pit road. You'll see him get his fast repair. I'd imagine we're going to see the 91 has not pitted yet. He probably will the next time by. And currently the 63 of Gerald Poole is leading. They've picked up the pace car on the back straightaway after lap 12. So I've just been informed that the outside is called the Tom. I guess because Tom Land likes to pass out there. I wonder how Tom will handle the new air bubble out there once he gets up by the wall. What we're talking about, when we mentioned the new air bubbles, they update the physics as often as possible using all the data from numerous race teams, from numerous types of racing, wind tunnels, and everything else they can get their hands on, track data, scans, everything. And one of the things that they had to update this season is that when you drive a car out to the edge of the wall, you create a bit of an air bubble, but from the car's speed creates a bubble that it's punching through, and that bubble kind of builds a little barrier between you and the wall. Not much of one, but it is there, and it can help keep you off the wall. If you can get it in the right position, it can actually help you go a little bit faster. Similar to a side draft effect, if you're looking for a comparison there, but you're side drafting off the wall. So it will come into play a little bit with these radicals. They have so much downforce, though, it's not as big of an effect. And looks like we're seeing some cars get off pit road very quickly. Like the number 6 there of Norman Chan. Already off pit road. One of the first ones off pit road. And we did mention earlier in the race, he is one to watch. He does have the Superman car. I'd imagine he is faster than the speed of sound. And looks like the 28 is currently in front of him. They're catching up to the pace car. The 28 has shown a lap down at the moment, so that should give the lead to Norman Chan when they come around after they finish pit stops. Look like his pit crew was also faster than a speeding bullet tonight. Got 4 tires and fuel on that thing and got him back out extremely quick. Like Mason Neal is... We'll have to wait and see. It looks like there was quite some position changes on pit road. And it looked like Doug Thomas in the 5 car, he has worked his way up a bit as well. He started in 12th, currently shown in 6th, but this may shake up a little bit after the pit stops. As we watch him catch up, they are going 1 lap to green, and we are correct in that the number 6, Norman Chan, will be leading on the restart, followed by Mason Neal out there on the outside. James Belair and Doug Thomas are the second row. So Doug has moved up from 12th to 4th, and James has moved up from 11th to 3rd. Back behind him, you have Tom Land in the 91 after repairs, came out 5th. Kyle Eichten came out 6th. Gerald Poole started on the pole back in 7th currently. And the 01 car of Christopher Rawlings is in 8th. Michael Graynolds is 9th. Edward Belair is 10th. Mark Belair is 11th. And Stephen Barber is currently shown in 12th. We'll see if he can keep that Superman car at the front. See if he can make any kind of a breakaway once that pace car drops off. Like we saw last week, I'd imagine with these cars, if you can get them lined up, you can catch back up to a lone car in the blink of an eye. You can get almost a half a second away, and they still are within the draft. And that's why we saw guys like Doug Thomas back there early in the race. He was back there playing it safe, staying just in the draft, but just out of the range of trouble. As they come out of turn 4, pace car should be dropping off just any second now. And the green flag is out. Finishing lap 14, starting lap 15. That Superman car gets a little bit of a breakaway. As they drop through turn 1 into the short chute. Now this 2.5 mile track does have 4 distinct corners. As we mentioned before, just over 9 degrees of banking in the turns and no banking on the straightaway. Oh, they are getting really dicey back there. But we see some attacking going to the outside. And are we about to see them line up 3 wide yet again this week? No, looks like they thought better of it, drop back just a hair. Doug Thomas is looking for a line up the middle, and there's Gerald Poole to his inside, trying to make his way back up to the front. Right now, as we come down to finish lap 15, let's go right along for a lap with our leader. As they come across the start-finish line, these cars definitely try and hang right around the white line. They have the downforce to hold that car on that line all the way around the track if they want to. Unlike your big stock cars, they drift out. They do not have as much grip. The tires don't grip as well. And they don't have nearly the downforce, so they have to drift out, drift in, and apex the turns. And you see midway down the back straightaway, they are still full throttle. Have not heard him let up yet. Might have cracked the throttle just 1% there. It sounded like his engine let up just a hair. Might have just been the bind on the tires as he comes through the short chute out of coming out of turn 4, a little bit loose, had to catch it. And that is a lap of Indy in one of these little Radical SR8s. And I have to tell you, they are a fun car to drive. And if you are starting in iRacing, this is definitely a great car to start with. And if you have an advanced league, it's definitely a fun car to compete with because it levels the playing field quite a bit with these fixed setups. And we are seeing them trying to get 4 wide back there. Looks like they're going to stay 3 wide, but Doug is out there to the outside. Will he stay or will he fall back in line? Looks like he's going to end up having to drop back into that second line. But he gets a bit of a run off the corners there. Coming out of the short chute, he definitely has an advantage. Gerald Poole get up there and push him. If he can get some help from behind, get a little bit of a push, he might be able to make something happen there. And every time they are on the white line, they do take out the cones. And I got to thank Chris Stanbridge for making the Cheers reference in the chat. Norm! As they come down the back straightaway, Doug is still fighting on the outside. Trying to make something happen here. He quickly gets back into that second line. Doesn't lose anything really for trying it, but he definitely gets a good head of steam coming out of these short chutes from 4 to turn 4 onto the front straightaway, turn 2 into the back straightaway. He definitely gets one heck of a run, and there he is looking for somebody to give him a hand. Stayed in line this time. We're now stacked back up 2 lines, nose to tail. And we've just reached the halfway point in the race. As they come out of turn 2, you see a couple of these guys swing really wide trying to get some momentum. Trying to carry any advantages. There goes Doug looking to the middle. If he can get inside of... No, he was looking to get inside and force the car in front of him to the outside, but just couldn't make it happen. Willie through the short chute. Looking for that run. Couldn't make it work to the outside. Kind of starting to look toward the middle now. They are not going to make it easy for him to move up, and they're definitely not going to make it easy at the front. Whoever's taking the time to go reset the cones, they might as well just stop. These guys are going to make sure to take those cones out every time. If we're really lucky, we'll see one get caught in a spoiler. Mason Neal was shown as leading that last lap there in that multicolor car. But Superman Norman Chan there to the inside. Every time they go through 1 and 3, he has the advantage. The outside line seems to have the advantage on the straightaways. They get a little bit more momentum off the corners, but that inside line just has the shorter distance to travel. As we come through the short chute between 1 and 2, they are really starting to get dicey with 15 laps to go. I predicted it'd be about 5 laps to go. We'd see these guys start getting impatient, start getting a little bit dicey. They decided not to wait quite that long. They weren't listening. As we see Doug looking to the inside yet again. Looks like he might have the momentum. Yes, he does. And lost it. Had to back out just a hair, but can he make it? We've seen him power through coming out of turn 4. Mason Neal and Norm Chan, they are both just not giving anybody an inch. And Norm takes the cones out again. Norm really does not like those cones. These cars are fun to watch at these flat tracks. They are fun to drive at these flat tracks. They are probably the most fun little cars in the entire sim, just because of the way they get around these tracks and the way they play in the draft. They are an easy beginner car, but you can do a lot of advanced stuff once you get good at them. As we see, these more advanced guys are definitely showing what these cars can do tonight as they come out of turn 4. 14 laps to go, coming to 13 to go. And it looks like a couple of these guys are trying to get the middle. Oh, there goes Doug to the outside. And he makes a move on at least, he's got at least one pass if he can get a little bit of help. And it looks like Mason Neal might be able to come down and take control of the inside line. We'll see if he can do it coming out of turn 2 onto the back straightaway. They are still 3 wide coming out of turn 2. Doug just needs somebody to hop up there and push him. It looks like he's going to have the 28 coming up. Just can't close the distance quite yet. Doug is not giving up that position, staying high on the outside 3 wide. You got to applaud these guys. And Doug does manage to pick up one position, drops back into the inside, or the middle line, excuse me. And then gets a little bit of a draft off the car in front of him, and then jumps and takes the lead on this lap. As we see that cone go yeet. As they come out of turn 2, this is about to get a little dicey. We saw Doug being really good in the draft, came from way behind last week after a mid-race incident. Definitely one to watch tonight. And he is, even with those 2 lines inside drafting, he's got that side draft hooked up. He is moving up. Falls back in line, catches a little draft off the car in front of him. He's going to make this work. At some point, oh, almost made a move to the inside. Gets the draft, goes back to the high side, looking for some help out there. And right now with 11 to go, we're seeing him 3 wide on the front and back straightaway. Here in about 5 or 6 more laps, we're going to see him 3 wide all the way around the track. And looks like that outside line that Doug seems to prefer might actually have some kind of an advantage here. He's moved himself up into 4th so far. Mason Neal's currently there on the outside. You've got Norm Chan on the inside in the Superman car. And there is the 63, Gerald Poole. He was our leader early on, got shuffled back during pit stops, moved his way back up. He's currently showing in 6th. Definitely going to watch him as we come to 10 to go. Things will get dicey, and we'll see if Gerald can get back to the front. I would imagine if Doug makes a move to the outside again, he's going to find some help from behind him, and I imagine we're about to see these 3, 4, 5 cars back here that have been hanging back playing it safe. They are going to come charging forward. 2.5 miles around this track, 10 laps, 25 miles. And at 59 seconds or less a lap, these guys are on it the whole time. As we see Gerald Poole, he's actually driving below the white, putting those left sides under the white. Oh, he makes a move to the middle and just shoves Doug out of the line now to the high side. Doug doesn't seem to mind. Seems to time him just about where he'd usually go to the outside. The question is, are they going to leave him hung out there, or is somebody going to move up to help him? 9 laps to go. I'd imagine he's going to start finding some more help. Especially from, oh, they almost touch. And these front 2 guys are loving watching this battling going on behind them because they don't have to fight them off nearly as hard. And Doug is still hanging on the outside line. Looks like he's got a little room if he needs to move down. He's not doing it yet. He's been carrying a ton of momentum out of these corners. And now he's going to have some help on that outside line, it looks like. And no, that Bass Pro Shops car dropped back into that second line, but he definitely has the momentum this time around coming through turn 1. Coming through the short chute out of 2. He's still stuck out there on the outside, but will he have some help down the back straightaway? We saw these guys going 3 wide down the front straightaway with 8 laps to go. They've got to make a move somehow. And it looks like Gerald Poole has moved back up. Yes, he is right in front of this front row. Currently scored in 4th, just looking for the opening to move up. Trying to run that middle line and block the low line at the same time. As they come down the front stretch, Doug still cannot get any help to the outside, and Norm seems to be able to just hold everybody off, just hanging out on that bottom line. Nobody's working together quite well yet, and they are not gathering up any momentum. But the interesting fact is this line that Doug has been running the last few times, about every other lap, he comes around and is scored as the lap leader. Which means if it comes down to the last lap and he's got that nose out there, he could still pull off a win. And if anybody jumps up there and realizes it, they could help push him around. He might be able to sneak a win in here. And it looks like he might finally get some help on that outside line. Yes, he does. And it's the car in the middle. Mason Neal left hung out to dry by himself, as we've got a... Now it looks like he is going to get some help up the middle, but now they are starting to get a little more dicey. That middle line looks like it's about to turn into 2 more lines. We may see 4 wide racing before long as they come down the back straightaway. Everybody falls in nice and tightly, and there comes Doug to the outside. That Bass Pro Shops car behind him is definitely going to stay out there this time around, give him a hand through the corners and through the short chute. That might be the push he needs. As he comes out of turn 4, not quite enough yet, but will he have the momentum? And loses his help coming out of turn 4. Looks like that outside line, if it gets any help at all, any consistent help, they might have it, but as we come to 5 to go, it is anybody's race. These guys are currently less than half a second apart. And they are getting very, very dicey as well. As they come down the back straightaway, 3 wide yet again. Starting to see some of them look to the inside, look to the outside, trying to find a way around. They're coming down to 4 to go. Gerald Poole looking there to the inside. He's looking way low for any way around Norman Chan. Norman Chan's going to hold that line down. Gerald can't go any lower. He'll tag that wall. And they are 3 wide. 3 wide and 3 deep, and looks like Doug has a run to the outside this time. Comes out of the short chute, loses a little bit of momentum, but if he drops back in the draft, he usually comes back up faster. That last lap looked like Mason Neal took the lap lead on that last lap with 4 laps to go. Any of these front cars, any of these front 6, 7, 8 cars should be able to pull off a win. We might see a photo finish. This race may come down to thousandths of a second. We did see it get a little bit crazy on the last lap last week at Daytona. I would imagine we will see more of that tonight. As we mentioned earlier in the race, they can easily go 4 wide here. The question, will they try 5 wide? They might even be able to make it 6 wide, but that would be a bit sketchy. But on the last lap, you have to go for it, and there is no telling what's going to happen. These guys are starting to move around quite a bit more. As you see Doug make a move to the outside, he is getting quiet. He gets quite a lead on Norman Chan. He got a little bit of lead on Mason Neal. He's going to try and figure out if he can make this work. One car was down on the apron. They don't need fuel, so I know he wasn't going for pit road. He was just trying to make something happen back there. And you can tell the way they're coming down. 2 laps to go. They are 3 wide, 2 deep. They're about to be 3 wide, 3 deep. It's getting a little dicey behind the lead 5, 6 cars. Some of these guys are using every inch of the track to find any little bit of momentum. They know this race will come down to just a thousandth of a second. Coming down the backstretch, still 3 wide. They've got Mason Neal goes up to get the side draft off Doug. And it looks like Doug has got some help there to the outside. Oh, they are getting dicey coming through the short chute. As they come out of turn 4, they're coming down to get the white flag. It will be 1 lap to go, and we're about to see this get really insane. We've seen them side by side. That outside line's now got 3 cars in it. The middle line's only got 2 cars. Who's it going to be? Gerald Poole is back up there behind. He's already looking to the inside through the short chute. The leaders have taken the white flag. There will be no green, white, checkered. Whatever happens, happens. These guys are coming down the back stretch looking. You see them moving all over the place. They are 3 wide. When they come out of turn 4, I'd imagine 4 wide will not be any big shock to anybody. But how wide will they try and take it as they come through the short chute? We see some cars getting way low coming through the short chute. And Doug bumps into Mason Neal. Mason Neal spins. There's a big crash coming through the front straightaway. It looks like they came across the line side by side. 3 cars. It was Gerald Poole. By 2 hundredths of a second, Gerald Poole wins. After being caught in an early caution, that was some extremely impressive driving. Let's go back and take a quick look at that finish. And you see a lot of bumping there on the front straightaway. There's that Superman car But Gerald Poole drafts him to the last possible second, drops to the outside. They come across the line 3 wide. Gerald Poole, James Belair, and Norman Chan finishes third. That was one heck of a finish for these guys. And we will see if our winner, Gerald Poole, hops into Discord to talk to us. And I would be remiss if I didn't say Gerald the Flaming Karma Poole. Looks like he actually got karma to swing his way this race. After 35 laps at Indy, managed to pull off a win. Huge congratulations to him. And that was a great race to all the drivers. That was one heck of a wild finish there at the end, folks. Let's see if we can try one more. It sounds like
Hello.
Gerald Poole. Congratulations, sir.
I think it looks like it's going to come with a little bit of controversy. I may have gotten into somebody coming out there on the stretch.
It looked like somebody got together. I wasn't sure if it was you or not, though. It was kind of hard to tell from the replay. But that was definitely one heck of a move there at the end.
Yeah, I had after that pit stop, I was a little farther back, so I was able to kind of move up spots here and there, and then was able to get behind Norm there. And my plan was kind of gauging the space between the Norm and Mason, and when we got out on that front stretch there to go down, like I said, I'm not really sure what exactly occurred, but I do know it was a 3-car drag race, so I couldn't stop and ask what happened, so I just had to race to the end. So
that was a heck of a last lap, and you were involved in that earlier incident as well, if I remember correctly. Or no, that happened just behind you.
Yeah, that happened just behind me. Yeah, I do recall seeing that in my rearview mirror. So, but no, to be honest with you, it was a really solid race. Everybody seemed to do a good job. I was kind of up front of the pack there a while, so when I went to pit, I was obviously really lacking on gas. So, it was just kind of one of those nights that is what it is. I'll have to go look at the replay. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm just kind of going by. I was in first position on the scoreboard when I jumped out because I was reminded softly that you're on the air, so I appreciate you covering the race for us, man.
Oh man, it was definitely worth it. Looks like you guys had some post-race celebration fun as well, so congratulations, sir. Go celebrate your victory.
Thanks, sir. I'm going to go back and see what happened and have a beer with everybody, so thanks a lot.
All right, thank you. All right, for Outcast Independent League, want to thank everybody for tuning in. Definitely tune in. Next Wednesday will be the season finale doubleheader at Dover and Talladega, so you definitely want to tune in for that. Back-to-back races right here. That will be exciting. We'll see these guys go around Dover and then immediately hop back into their cars and go around Talladega at over 200 miles an hour. So that will be one heck of an exciting race. We'll see a lot of the same action we saw at Daytona at Talladega, and we'll see some of the same action we saw here tonight when we go to Dover. A lot of that two lines side by side, and everybody working really hard to make some passes, and that track is tight and will be exciting to watch. So thank you all for tuning in. Definitely like, subscribe, go check out the league. If you're interested in iRacing at all, I'm sure Outcast has something for you, from rookie to expert leagues. 13 or 14 different divisions and a lot of fun. They even have stuff, like I said, for the rookies, which my daughter will be running in here in a few weeks. So I'm looking forward to seeing her go out there and run with these guys. In the meantime, thank you for tuning in. Thanks from all the admins at Outcast, and y'all have a wonderful night.